RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What's up? Hello, guys. This is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out on our Friday night. Every Friday night, get together at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. And if you're on any other platform, come on over to that address, like I just said, youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. Maybe I didn't say it right. I don't know. And hang out with the best chat room in all of liberal media. And I see the chat room filling up right now, so that's awesome. And yeah, we're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, also on Rokfin.com. If you dare, go on over, create an account at Rokfin, and I don't know, help me out over there. All right, what else? SoundCloud. Give the show a good review on iTunes, and also, if you can, become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And keep coming back. It works if you work it. So work it. You're worth it. And live it. And thank you, Haiku. Haiku says the sound is sounding good. So awesome. Thank you, Haiku. I appreciate it, because this is a community show. I can't do it without you. And why the hell would I want to, really? The producer's sitting over there. He's just kind of sitting there. So we'll see if he comes over. I don't want to give him any encouragement. We have a lot to talk about. And also Poppy Champlin is going to be calling in at, I don't know, in about a half hour or so, maybe more, give or take. But we never have a loss for words around here. And yeah, if only we ran out of Republican dirty tricks to talk about. There's so many infuriating things happening. So that's why I do encourage and hope for your support. So because the liberal media, this is it. You're looking at it. So we need each other, and this is how we're going to win. We have to get the message out there. This is all right. Let me just dive in. There's a few things. Of course, we're talking about Republicans dragging us back to history's trash pile. And like Dick Cheney, remember back when the Republicans used the terrorist attack on this country and the death of 3,000 plus Americans, to the shock that we all felt, and also the unity at the time that we all felt, used that as an excuse to go invade a country that they wanted to invade for decades, and divided, basically spit on all of the goodwill of all of our allies, and wipe their asses with the sacrifices of the troops, and also exploited the deaths and the pain and anger of those who died on 9/11 and the families they left behind. The pain and anger of the families, because you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. They used that event to attack a country that had nothing to do with 9/11 and wipe their ass with the goodwill of the world. They disgraced us. They turned us into a torture state. They violated the Geneva Conventions, much less, not much less, but on top of it, they also violated basic human decency. So, and when asked about that the American people were not on board with this illegal war based on lies, that there still is no accountability for. At the time, Dick Cheney responded with a very succinct and pithy, so. Yeah, so. That's how Republicans view democracy. So. That's how they view whether they have a mandate or not. Republicans never have a mandate for their manias, their tyranny. they just behave like that. The sad thing is, though, and this is what we talk about on the show a lot, and I hope that Democrats are listening, and I'm talking about, establishment Democrats, and I hope there are some in the establishment wing of the Democratic Party who are listening, because the only reason they're able to get away with that is because the establishment wing of the Democratic Party doesn't, I don't know what it is. They don't fight as if they have the mandate of history. They concede to the filthy fascist Republicans, and here we are. Now, actually, one of the things I wanted to discuss, but it slipped my mind, was after this draft, whatever, piece of dirt that Alito spewed out onto the earth, and the point is, despite the fact that over 70% of the American people don't want Roe v. Wade to be overturned. They don't want the disgusting Republicans to drag us back, not just to history's trash pile, of course, but to drag women into back alleys. His response is the same. So this is what they say. They don't care. They never had a mandate. They never did. They never will. They just hate democracy. It's like they've been lying in wait since the American Revolution to drag us back to history's trash pile. And this is why we need a liberal media, because I have still yet to hear the argument on corporate media that criminalizing abortion does not reduce the abortion rate, and that's the truth. I don't understand what is so hard about the truth getting out there. It's amazing to me, and it doesn't surprise me that here we are. And we talked about this the last show, but that's the truth, though. I'm frustrated beyond belief, because how is this happening? How is it that I've been monitoring the corporate media for days now, and I've yet to hear any of the Democrats on corporate media invited on to express their disgust about the Republican destruction of about women's privacy rights. And I've yet to hear one of them explain that the abortion rate does not go down when you criminalize abortion. All you do is increase dead women by dragging them back to dark back alleys. So, I don't know. Am I out of my mind here? Okay, don't answer that. But that's why we need a liberal media. And so all over the corporate media and, well, all over Twitter, let's say, I don't know if you've noticed, the big attack that the establishment Democrats they're doing it again. Whenever the Republicans behave like the fascists they are, and they have a win, quote unquote, what happens? They attack the left. They attacked Susan Sarandon. They say, thanks, Bernie. Thanks, Susan. Susan Sarandon's been trending on Twitter. Susan Sarandon is not to blame for this. It's very discouraging, because I wonder, with this kind of attitude from mainstream Democrats, no wonder I'm not hearing the truth on corporate media. It's a gimme. You know what I mean? It's like it's a softball. Throw it out there. Why is it that the American people do not know that abortion rates don't go down when you criminalize abortion. I mean, it's not just in the United States. There is reams of studies about this all over the world. The abortion rate is the same in states and countries where it is criminalized. And we can get into it. I mean, I have the receipts, but I don't get it. What the hell? Right, and Haiku says, but if the abortion rate goes down, they can't punish women the same. Exactly. And it has nothing to do with life or babies, and why don't the Democrats, fight? All right, we'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. All right, we're back. So we discussed this the other day. I'm just checking in again about it, that I've still not heard this argument on any corporate media channel. And it's the truth. We have to get to the point where when Republicans proclaim themselves to be pro-life, it's immediately accompanied by a laugh track. That's the response. They're not pro-life. They're pro, they're pro intergenerational aristocracy. They're pro-control. They're pro-divide and conquer. That's for sure. But they're not pro-life, and they're certainly not pro-babies. They want birth, I guess. I don't know. They want more unsafe. They want women to, the maternity rate in this country for a developed country is abhorrent. We have childhood poverty at rates that are abhorrent in the Western world. So they hate life. They hate children. They hate babies, not to mention the PTSD of making young people and everybody else of all ages suffer through live shooter drills. It's bad enough we do that to children. I had to do when I was working at corporations. This is a new thing now. You have to go through live shooter drills. Not only the fire department comes and they tell you, okay, this is what you do if there's a fire, and here who's the fire marshal, and blah blah blah, and this is where you meet, and this is what you do. But also now they're incorporated in the fire drill is live shooter drills. What do you do when if you find you're being some nut job that Republicans armed is loose in your place of business or place of work? This is what you do. You confront. I know there's like an acronym for it. Then the last one is confront. If you have nothing else, one is I think it's hide, or I don't know. Somebody can look it up. It's not hide. It's something like evade. And then the last one is confront. So like if you have nothing else, then you go out there and you're like, yeah, let me jackal them, because this is where we live. What kind of you can't just go to work, right? You can't go to work. You just got to worry about. It's like, for example, everything. Everything that sucks in this country is because of right-wingers. Yeah, I'm thinking about, you can't just, for example, think about your retirement. You have to become you got to become a day trader too. You can't do your own job. You have to do everybody else's job because Republicans want us all to be nothing but just hosts from which to suck profit. That's all we are. And if it means that they get more money from the NRA, then we all have to suffer through live shooter drills. If it means that the Wall Street banksters get closer to sucking on our socialist security, then we all have to become day traders and try to win the game with your 401k, which, that's a whole other story. Okay, I'm not going down that road tonight. I hope I'm making. I know I'm a little bit discombobulated. Whatever. What is discombobulated? Okay. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Mark C, for your super chat. To quote Sister Sledge, Mark C says, Mark C says, "We are family. I got all my Tarabusters with me." That's right, Mark. And thank you, Slow Tree, for your super chat in euros, you lucky bastard. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Germany. God, what's it like living in a civilized nation? And thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Another great show, Tara. So we have a few. Where am I going to start? Okay, I got to keep my eye on, because Poppy's calling in soon. Don't worry, Poppy. She's out there. She's got to drive home. Don't, be safe. Be safe, okay? She's out there in the world. Yes, okay. Let's start with, there's a few things. There's so many. I mean, I wish there was only a few. Okay. Marjorie Traitor Green has been cleared for takeoff. So you can be a perjurer and a traitor, and the judge says she's fit to squat in her position of pretending to represent her district. And of course, she's nothing but she's a scam artist, like the rest of them. In fact, I was just reading an article about her. I know, right? Another article, but and it was all about what a fraud she is. And we discussed it on the show. They're all frauds. They are all frauds. You see? Because it's too much work to not be, to actually be the thing that you pretend to be. So this article I was reading about Marjorie Taylor Greene, they were discussing that she was nothing but a CrossFit enthusiast. That's all she was. And it was discussing how she fell down a cue hole. And they went through her Facebook history or whatever. And so initially, she had nothing political in her Facebook or social media history until Donald Trump, until 2016, until very recently, let's say. But before that, it was nothing but CrossFit and shit like that. And the people who knew her at the gym, and she was also notorious for being a serial adulterer. That's the other thing. They said that the only thing she did was CrossFit. So others were able, you go to the gym, I go to the gym, we go to the gym, whatever. You go for an hour or two, and then you got to go home because you got shit to do. According to the people at the gym, Marjorie Taylor Greene was there all day. And people said she didn't have a job. She was being supported by her family's business. And not until she decided to run for this open and, I think, uncontested seat that she's now disgracing us by pretending to represent the people of Georgia. She put her name on her family's business records. Okay? So yet again, another Republican is just completely full of shit. And the people who also worked out at that gym said, I saw her there every day. She was there every day, all day. And no matter what time I went, but I had to go home because I had to go to work. But she didn't have to work because, she was being supported. She was on her family's dole, of course, but all right, whatever. See, that story doesn't fit their narrative. You see what I mean? Everything about them is a lie. I'll be right back. All right, Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. But the thing is here, and this is another example of how the corporate media falls down on the job. And also the Democrats. What the F? Why won't they expose this? If a journalist can scratch the surface of Marjorie Taylor Greene's origin story and get to the bottom of it with corroboration, and why doesn't the corporate media? They talk about, what? I mean, give credit where credit's due. She is a fraud, like the con man she worships. And also, the other thing they were talking about was how her QAnon history. It was clear that she fell down the Q hole, and all of everything that she talked about on the stand, all the perjury, calling for Nancy Pelosi's, calling her a traitor to the country, and that she should be shot, and everything that she lied about on the stand. Now, according to the judge who's cleared her to wipe her ass with the Constitution, they said that the plaintiffs didn't make their case that she participated in the insurrection after she took the oath of office. That was, I guess that was the fine line, after she took the oath of office. But these Republicans get such a long leash. You know what I mean? They're allowed to perjure themselves. She was clearly committing perjury. And that judge watching her on the stand, her antics, I don't recall. And not taking that into consideration is really a falling down on the job, frankly. They're allowed to be underwhelming and underwhelming traitors and perjurers. So I don't know. Here we are. Okay. Other things I don't want to get into all of that like all night, but okay. Where am I gonna go? Because Poppy's gonna be calling in soon. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's another thing. Where do I go? Well, we'll see. I have a few things. I wanted to talk about Meghan McCain, but we'll get to that. I guess we could talk about that after Poppy. It's like BP or AP. So the other thing. All right, let's go into Alito, because the thing that is offensive but not unexpected is that Alito, in his opinion, is he cites himself numerous times as a scholar, a jurisprudence scholar. Also, he cites a 17th century English misogynist who also, I think, put women to death for witchcraft. This is where we live. And Republicans, he dares to cite this 17th century demon-haunted scumbag that the founders, fought a revolution to overthrow people like this. And this scumbag, here we go, hold on. Where is it? Come on, everybody. If you're on any other channel, come on over to youtube.com/C4 channel/Tarabuster while I look this shit up. Alito, where is it? Here we go. The 17th century misogynist. Let's see, 17th century. I had the article, now I can't. You know how it is. I think his name is Hale. Oh, yes, Matthew Hale. Here it is. Who Who was Matthew Hale, the 17th century jurist that Alito invokes in his draft overturning of Roe? Look at it. You want to see his face? There he is. Sir Matthew Hale. Well, we don't have sirs here, you know? I think in fact, there are some Revolutionary War graves in Calvary Cemetery. It's one of the oldest cemeteries in the United States. But, hey, who cares? Who fought, bled, and died to entrust this constitutionally limited democratic republic that so many fought, bled, and died, right? Who cares about them when you're this close to dividing and conquering and destroying this pesky democracy once and for all? So, this is from the Boston Globe. Deanna Pan writes, in his leaked draft opinion overturning Roe v. Wade, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito leans heavily on the scholarship of a 17th century English judge, Sir Matthew Hale. It reminds me of when the fascist Republicans, when the disgraceful scumbags had their debate in 2016, when there was 50,000 of them on the stage, and they were asked what woman they admired, and what American woman, okay, they admired in history. You know, like who should be on the $10 bill or the $20 bill, and they said, three of them said Margaret Thatcher. Okay? And somebody else said my mom. Not my mom, their mom. Then another one of them said their wives. You see how scumbaggy they are? And then they went for Rosa Parks. One of them said Rosa Parks, and then the other one was like, "Oh yeah, that's good, Rosa Parks. Yeah. What he said. Yeah, right. I like that." And they had to rerun. No, sorry, booby. American woman. What American woman in history do you admire? There's so many to choose from, but they went with Margaret Thatcher. It's a joke. It would be funny if it weren't so deadly. If they weren't such scumbags, you know, spitting on the graves of every human being that ever died for democracy. Whoops, what happened? Yeah. Not only, let me see, here we go. Where was I? In his leaked opinion, yes. Alito leans heavily on the scholarship of 17th century English judge Sir Matthew Hale to underpin his argument that prohibiting abortion has a long, unbroken tradition in the law. So does, well, not unbroken. It was broken, though, 50 years ago. Women couldn't get credit cards. They couldn't get bank loans. They weren't considered full human beings when I was born. Uh-oh, here comes the producer. Holy shit. I knew you were going to come over. What's going on, producer? What's happening, producer? Was I not doing the show good? Was I not doing it good? Look at it, now you can just stare at me. Let me see. Oh, Poppy's on the phone. Hold on. Poppy.
Yes.
Poppy Champlin, everybody. Comedian extraordinaire. And
no, I'm really interested in what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Good stuff.
Oh, well, let me finish.
Oh, yeah.
Let me finish. Hold on then.
Finish.
But you stay on. You can, feel free to comment. Not only have many legal scholars disputed Alito's reading of history, they've also criticized his reliance on Hale because of what the jurist's writings reveal about his attitudes towards women. Hale is notorious in the law for laying the legal foundation clearing husbands from criminal liability for raping their wives. Well, of course, this was the 1700s here. And for sentencing, right? I mean, and this is what he's citing. He's citing this
Jesus.
scumbag, right? And he
Crazy.
also he cited this scumbag, and he cited himself, his own rulings. I hate him. I hate them all. Yes, he cited himself 6 times, and he cited only 5 times. He cited women. You know, so he cited himself more, and and including this scumbag, this Hale character. Hale is notorious.
I can't believe it.
I know, it's unreal. He's, let me see. Clearing husbands from criminal liability for raping their wives and for sentencing 2 women accused of witchcraft to death. A case that served as a model for the infamous Salem witch trials. Hold on. We'll be right back with Poppy Champlin.
Oh, my God.
Hold on. All right, we're back with Poppy Champlin discussing the inspiration that Justice so-called Alito used. This Matthew Hale, a 17th century demon-haunted misogynist. What were you going to say?
Wow. Well, I was going to say it's certainly setting us up for Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale.
Definitely.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely. This is how it starts. And one of the things that I remember when I was in college, I had this book, one of the books that I was assigned, not just me. I mean, it was a history class. And I wish I could remember the name of this book. And I don't know what happened to it in my life, but it was a book that had writings from the liberal age of enlightenment. It was basically I'm trying to explain it. Let me think. How do I explain it? So it was like they had writings that had all kinds of hope in them, and then they juxtapose them with writings, like racist writings from like Nazi Germany and things like that. So, and the point was that history is not linear. So if we were living at the time of the liberal age of enlightenment and we were reading different writings of the philosophers, then we might think, and that they thought how the future was so bright, and that they could only imagine how far humankind would have evolved by the 20th century, and how wrong they were, really. Because
I mean, if it wasn't for these guys, as you say, Republicans, taking us back like this, and I mean, I can see the hope of the future. I can see us being on the cutting edge of solar energy and the cutting edge of wind energy. I can see us. You know, it's all there. Just like, you know, Biden said, we could actually be leading the world in all this crap. But now, what the fuck?
Right.
Why do they want to pull us back like this?
Because I don't know what, like, as far as this is concerned, I never truly thought that, well, maybe I did. I don't know. They just keep getting worse and worse. Because I never really, it's sort of like the dog who caught the car. I never thought that they would actually go for the full shebang, you know, that they would whittle away at our privacy rights, and they would use it as a fundraising mechanism, which is what they do. But now that they caught the car, so to speak, what do they have? All they've done is they've really, I hope there's going to be a backlash that the likes of which we will never see, have never seen, to quote Donald Trump, because you know, it's I can't imagine. They're still talking about how when they take over the House and the Senate in the midterms. They're the way that the Republicans are talking. It's like as if it's already a foregone conclusion. And now I don't I don't blame them because that's part of their scam. But it's also I hear it on corporate media too. They're talking like it. It's if this happens,
because they did the gerrymandering. I mean that's the only way they're going to do it is if they did the gerrymandering because, like you said, 70% of America is not for these people, really.
Right.
But the gerrymandering changes the ball count.
Right.
So
it's true.
It's unbelievable. But you know what the backlash is going to be, and the conservatives are going to be pissed. They are creating a lot of lesbians. I'm really
that's good.
If we can't get women can't get abortions, then they're everyone's going to become a lesbian, and then
I wish it worked that way.
I do too. A glut of gays. There will be a glut of gays and
a glut of gays. Is that what it's called? Like when a bunch of gays are hanging out together, it's called a glut.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I mean,
is that what it's called in P-Town, right?
Yeah, I am so pissed that, and of course I take it to the other extreme. I say if women can't have abortions, then men should not be able to have sperm. Period.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
She didn't get that way on her own.
Exactly.
So take away the cause of the whole thing.
Right, but they would never do that. They could legislate. Somebody can put a law up. All right, Junior, he's fucking doing it again. He always does this.
The producer.
He's constantly biting my hand whenever the show starts.
Weirdo.
Right? But so what somebody should do is introduce a bill that men before until they can prove themselves financially capable of supporting a child, that they would be required to have vasectomies, and then when they can prove it, until they prove it.
I mean, you get circumcised and you get a vasectomy at the same time.
Right.
You're right there. You're doing the whole
exactly,
and
it can be, and now it can be reversible. It's always been reversible, but now it's even more so. So, write that law, because
exactly.
Right, but the thing is,
there's no reason why a woman should be put through this. What if men got pregnant every time they had sex with a woman? I guess there'd be a lot more population.
Yes,
because I don't think they'd stop having sex.
Right.
I think they would still keep doing it.
Well, that's the old joke.
Why can't,
right? If men could get pregnant, abortion would be a sacrament. That's the old joke. It's true.
Yeah, there you go.
It would. It totally would. But I'm not sure if you were listening earlier, and it's driving me insane that I'm not hearing any Democrats say that when you criminalize abortion, it does not reduce the abortion rate. I mean, that's just a fact. All it does is increase the amount of women who die in back alley abortions. I don't understand. It's
right, because men don't have to pay any goddamn thing about it. They don't have to. They can report her and make some money about it. Let's get her pregnant and then report her.
Right. Exactly.
They're not.
Wow.
They're not having to suffer anything.
Yes, exactly.
They should have their left nut cut off after if she something. Then,
exactly.
Then if they do it again, then they get their second nut cut off.
Right.
And then they'll be like John Bobbitt, and they were playing nuts.
Right. Exactly.
I said that wrong.
What did you say? Say again. What did you? I missed it.
I said it wrong. It's supposed to be after Lorena Bobbitt cut off John Bobbitt's penis. They said she was crazy, and I said, yeah, and he was just plain nuts. Okay, that's how it was supposed to be.
That's good. See? That's good. But, that's it. Yes. No, true, but true. I mean, it's just insane. And it's
insane.
But it's insane that have you heard that on corporate media, that the fact abortion rates do not decrease when abortion is criminalized. Does any
I believe it.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, let me look it up. Let me bring the receipts here. Abortion. I know
Bring
I
the
ha-
receipt. Let me see the receipt.
Yes. Let me see. And
No,
that
people are not going to stop fucking.
right, but it's just women have been having abortions for time immemorial. You know, it's only been a problem. The whole church, the church, and it really is about controlling women's bodies, because throughout earlier in Christianity history, the life did not begin at conception. Life began when at birth, when you took your first breath. That was when supposedly the soul entered your body. Of course, it's all bullshit, of course. Then as women
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's none of that.
Is that the whole Holy Ghost thing?
Yeah, and when it only started to become a more restrictive when life began at conception, when women started having more autonomy over their bodies. It really, it's a complete. Yeah, I mean it's completely. You could see the parallel, the correlation there is.
Yeah,
they're
definitely
disputed.
losing control of women. Women are becoming a lot more powerful and a lot more, in control of not only their bodies, but a lot of, companies and stuff like that. So men are feeling emasculated, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It never made sense from the whole beginning. And it might have made sense in caveman days, but it doesn't make sense anymore.
No, exactly. Wait, hold on, Poppy. We'll be right back. Hold on with Poppy Champlin. All right, we're back talking about how the abortion rate does not go down under criminalized policies. Here's an article, one of the many. Anti-abortion activists working to criminalize abortion in the United States and abroad will always be stymied by a crucial fact. People everywhere want, need, and will find ways to get abortions. I observed this firsthand while working as a public health advisor in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And now research from the Guttmacher Institute demonstrates just how misguided and dangerous it is to try to limit abortion access. The data shows that abortion rates are roughly the same in countries where abortion is broadly legal and in countries where it is not. And abortion rates are actually 4 times higher in low-income countries where abortion is prohibited rather than in high-income countries where it is broadly legal. Exactly. Because women aren't having abortions because of whatever, willy-nilly. The research shows that women, the number one reason women seek abortions is economics. So I don't know if I said that correctly, but that's the truth. So so if you don't want abortions, this is why I hate Republicans and the Democrats. I'm sick of them for not fighting and just saying the damn truth. If you don't want abortions, if you don't like abortions, then vote Democratic, because the abortion rate goes down under Democratic policies, under universal health care, under higher education, under under reality-based sex education, under living wages. That's what reduces the abortion rate. And then the second most, I think, one is, of course, timing. That's the second, but that's also an economic thing. Yes, meaning like I'm in college now. I can't do it now. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm too, that's like a broad, overarching umbrella, that fits many, many things. So, but that's really the truth. Abortion rates, if you don't like abortion, then promote the policies that actually reduce its number, and the Republicans don't do any of that. In fact, the abortion rates go up under Republican policies, and there's plenty of data on that too. Under for example, George Bush and the Republicans pushing this abstinence-only bullshit, sex education, abortion rates went up. And they also were against contraception, and I mean, like everything that they.
Now, why is that? Why is
because
that?
it's about.
Why are they against this?
They hate women.
I don't get it.
Because they want women. Yes, of course they do. Yes, of course they do. They want women to feel. See, if you have sex, if a woman has sex, she's a whore, and if there are no consequences, then women will be having sex and they might actually be enjoying it. That's why they want many of them, this is what this is the underlying mania is. That's what it's about. It's also because they're messed up in general. Republicans are sick. The conservatives, they really are. They're sexually repressed. There's something fundamentally sick about them. Then they need help.
I mean,
but they won't get it.
Right. It goes back to the church. Like when I heard Amy Coney Barrett, it was like, wow,
right.
She is so, you could tell how religious she was, and that you knew as soon as she got in that she was going to try. A woman is going to try to make abortion illegal. That is like the worst.
Right. Well, because that's the cynicism of the Republicans, like that's why they put her up second. They shoved that I like beer asshole on that illegitimate piece of dirt on the Supreme Court. Yeah, the rapist. And because she was on the list, she was on the short list, but they said they were saving her, quote unquote, for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so
God,
those scumbags.
Somebody said it. They really are playing the long game.
Oh
My God.
I know they've been playing this long game since the revolution. This is the thing, they're trying to drag us back. I swear, look at the policies. They don't just want to roll back the progressive era or the Roe v. Wade and roll back the New Deal. They want to roll back not just the American Revolution. They want to roll us right back to the Dark Ages, and that is. That's their policies.
And why? Why?
Because
why?
Okay, I'll explain it. For the power structure. Of course, for the Republican puppets of
patriarchy?
They are, but see, it's because the democracy gets in the way for the billionaires that Republicans, are owned. They own the Republicans, and the Republicans themselves, the ones in power, like the Ted Cruzes and whatnot, they are above everything. So they're fine sucking up to power because they don't give a shit about anybody else but themselves, and they'll be fine. It's like when Texas was freezing because of Republican policies. He fucks off to Cancun. That's them in a nutshell. They're just useless. And they're not in power for altruism. They're not there because they believe in government and democracy, and that's why the Democrats drive me insane, because when Republicans are all like small government, what they really mean is they hate democracy. So when the Democrats annoy me because they don't fight back, Why don't you say that? When Republicans are saying that they like small government, what they're really saying is that they hate democracy. What is so freaking hard about saying that? That's what they're doing. And
but is it because it's the patriarchy that they're trying to hold on to?
Well, it's many.
Or is it just their money?
Well, yeah, it's about money and it's about they're selfish, but it's like many of there are different factors for depending on who they are. You know, there are some like Marjorie Traitor Perjury Green. Well, her name is Perjury Traitor Green now, but she is
Perjury Traitor Green.
she's a sick bitch. You know, like she's one of their victims. You know, and she's not that smart. And,
like, isn't
you know,
she still of age to have an abortion? Could she
Marjorie
still get
Traitor
pregnant?
Green? Well, whatever.
Yeah.
See, if she got pregnant and needed an abortion or wanted an abortion, she'd be able to get one. This is the thing, you know? So on corporate media, I keep hearing how the corporate media mouthpieces are saying, and who suffers most are black and brown people. That's music to the Republican ears, you know. They don't. That doesn't sway anybody. They like that. They want that. If it's black and brown people getting hurt, good. That's why it's like the same thing with COVID. When as soon as they found out that it wasn't just Trumpanzees getting sick, it was mostly affecting, or was hitting the African American communities harder. They were like, "Oh, fucking freedom," you know, and because they don't care about their fellow Americans. And, you know, because the other thing is, I mean, Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch let it slip when he said
God. He's
that.
the worst.
Well, yeah, when he said that Americans are what? What did he say? Something about African Americans are something, and just as much as Americans are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a big slip on his part.
Yeah, well, they can't fucking help it because they are. It's just who they are. That's why I'm so. I mean, it's the friggin' Democrats too, because they just don't fight these people. They don't fight. They would much rather fight me. You know, the left, the actual. I don't know what it is. It's for them. I guess it's about access and power too. For many of them, like in the DNC establishment, who they are, you know, because right out of the gate, as soon as we heard this about Alito and Roe v. Wade, they all over Twitter it was like, "Thanks, Susan Sarandon." You know, it's like you're. How long is this? Are you going to play this card? It's boring, you know.
Who's playing the Susan Sarandon card? What's that about?
Well, it's because Susan Sarandon, you know, is not. I don't know. Said that Hillary. Well, initially she said that the American people might need to have a Donald Trump to shake things up, to wake them up. Right? Hold on a second. We'll be right back. Hold on. With Poppy Champlin. And Susan Sarandon is a liberal, and she's an unapologetic liberal, but who said that she wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. They're both two sides. I don't know the whole story or whatever. I know they.
Oh, but she probably wants to apologize now. Shit.
Well, here comes the producer again. Oh man. But I don't know if she's not apologizing, and there's. But that's, I mean, the thing is, it's not, I mean, it's so tedious. But the point is, when the Republicans do things like this, what the Democrats, what do? They punch left. It's like they can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, like shut up about Susan Sarandon. Right.
They don't know how to fight dirty and win.
Well, and
it's because maybe you have to fight dirty against the Republicans.
It's not even dirty. You just got to fight. But it's because many of them in the Democratic Party are part of the problem. Like Nancy Pelosi, I believe, is, you know, part of the problem. She enough already.
Yeah, she said something the other day.
What did she say? Oh, don't tell me. What?
I don't know what she said I don't know. I just know that she did say something that was
something
like
stupid.
All of a sudden was like, "Oh, what the hell is she talking about?"
Yeah, like when people were discussing insider trading of the Congress
Yep.
people. And she's like, oh,
Yep, that
this
was
is
it.
the free market. And people are like, no, bitch. We don't want
Right.
you to insider trade. That's not okay.
Right.
Like she's
Right.
out of control here. Like go away. And and that's part of the problem with and Chuck Schumer too. These people, they're the old guard, I guess. And
they are.
And money in politics is what got us to this point. So
Yep.
I'm
The
telling
rich
you.
old guard. Hey,
Yeah.
I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
Now, would this be possible? First of all, well, I know you probably had other things you wanted to talk about, but you heard that Spirit and Frontier Airlines were trying to merge, right?
No. What happened? Yeah.
No, you didn't hear that? Yeah, Spirit and Frontier, like worse and worse, like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, really?
They're the worst. Spirit's horrible, and Frontier, you got to buy like leg room just to sit in your chair.
Oh my God! You have to buy extra, right? Right.
Yeah, you have to buy extra just to be comfortable.
Oh my God!
So then, okay. So where am I going with this? Okay, so I know. Because there's a new airline coming to Rhode Island called Breeze. And their catchphrase is "seriously nice," which is so stupid. But and especially they're starting in Rhode Island, and so this catchphrase should be "wicked nice." But anyway, so I'm like, what's the catchphrase for the new Spirit and Frontier airline, which is going to be called Spiriteer? I don't know if it will, but I think their catchphrase should be Spiriteer, fly on us and get a free abortion. That's what I think.
That's a good one.
But and my question to you is, if you're flying up 25,000 feet or whatever, 40, and you're not really in any state, so no laws really apply,
Oh,
could
God.
there be flying hospitals and you could actually give legal abortions?
Oh God! If that's what it comes to, my God. I guess we could also do like abortion boats, so go
right,
out of
exactly. Yeah.
But that's just
We
it's
could
just,
start something here. This is new.
right. The abortion boat, it's like the love boat. It's like the very end. It's like the last day of the cruise on the love boat, right?
Right. And then you get your abortion.
Yes. It is really the love boat.
Anti-love boat.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
it's crazy. I just to think that this country is, because of these right wingers, being dragged back to the back alleys. Enough, and the Democrats. What are you doing? What's his name? Chuck Schumer's like, we're taking a vote. You're gonna lose. So let's show us all that you lose. You continuously lose. Okay, wonderful. I don't know.
So they're trying to take a vote they're trying to vote to just make it a law, right? That that abortion could be
they
legal.
want to get everybody. I think Chuck Schumer is saying we want everybody on record. We already know where they stand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just
but
seems
you would
like
think
another.
there could be 10 Republicans that could come over to
Maybe.
say,
That's
out of
true.
50, you can't
Susan
get 10?
Collins and
You can get
Lisa
two.
Michalski, those two bitches. Oh my God. Yeah, all
Yeah,
of
they
them.
were
And
two.
oh God, and I hate. What do you think about Kristen Sinema? I hate her. I mean, I'm just. She's
not sure.
we talk about this on the show a lot, so maybe I shouldn't open up the can of worms again, because she's the first bisexual in Congress, and it drives me up a wall.
She is?
Supposedly.
Oh, that's
Fuck
right.
her,
I've
though.
heard it.
First
I've heard it.
bisexual. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, so what? It's such a nothing issue. Like, you're not doing any,
exactly.
like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not, take a
Right.
stand. Whoopee-doo. You're the first bisexual.
Yeah.
Like,
is there a
it's-
transsexual in Congress?
No, I don't think so, actually.
No. Well, that would be
Yes.
that would be a first.
That's
Maybe
different.
she should be trans.
Right. She could
Yeah.
at least do something trailblazing.
Yeah.
She's just more like, look at me. I'm bisexual. Like, shut the fuck up. It's so boring. Like
I
she's
cut my hair short.
right. Well, I got pink hair. She's doing it. It feels like to be tittillating. Like, ooh, I'm bisexual. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, because that's never a deterrent for these for men for the most part. I've never,
No, why would it be?
It's not.
It would be
it's
a
in
challenge,
fact,
if anything.
it's more of a yay, okay, especially that. Oh, go away. Oh, but she's another one who says that she supports women's rights. I've sponsored the bill, but she won't undo or overturn the filibuster because she's more. She wants to keep the Senate. Supposedly, without the filibuster, there would be no negotiation between. Like, fuck you. There's none now. You bitch. Oh my God, I hate these people.
What? Yeah, I might need a little lesson here on the filibuster.
Okay.
Like,
well,
what the fuck?
Well, let's just say it's a rule that they have so made it so that, like, not even challenging. So it used to be that you would have to continuously speak, and so debate would not close. You know what I mean? So
right, that's what I thought.
Right, but now all these scumbags have to do is go, I filibuster. I'm going off to be bisexual now. And then that's it. You know what I mean?
It?
Yeah, and in fact, and that's another thing that dumb bitch did. They wanted to change the rules. The Democrats were trying to make it to bring back the talking filibuster. At least you can get up there and put your ass on the line in front of the American people and put some work into it. But they, but the bisexual bitch and her Joe Manchin puppet wouldn't have it. Hold on, we'll be right back with Poppy Champlin. All right, we're back talking about the bisexual Kristen Sinema, who, she wouldn't go for that either because that's too much work. It's too much work to make people work, to make these scumbags work. And
they should have to write beautiful and eloquent speeches like there used to be.
Yeah, right, exactly. And
eloquent.
Stand up there, and elegant and eloquent, elegantly eloquent, and get up there and defend your case. But they don't do it. It's too much work. It's so much easier. Like, Nancy Pelosi wants, for everybody to be able to insider trade, I guess, too. So that's so much easier than actually doing any work in that department. It's all corruption everywhere we look. And that's why, as far as Nancy and Chuck are concerned, I just think they're part of the old guard that needs to go because Nancy Pelosi's claim to her position as speaker is that she's a great fundraiser, and that's how she got where she is, and she's good at fundraising. But if you're good at the thing that this country is dying from, the corruption of money and politics, you're good at that. Then enough. Haven't you done enough? I don't know.
You want to talk about something else? You want to talk about the Alabama corrections lady and the inmate who escaped?
We can talk about that. Sure.
That's kind of fun.
That's crazy, but whatever. Not unexpected. It's also. Alabama, of course. How did this woman become? She's supposedly she was a good officer. I don't know. She just reminded me of a Trumpanzee.
It was her last day, too.
Oh, what do you mean her last day?
Yeah, she was done that day.
Oh.
That was her last day of work.
But that's her boyfriend, supposedly, right? Who, for those who don't know,
they eloped.
This Alabama correction, or she's a cop, right? A sheriff, who who escaped with the love of her life. Let's talk about. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about. Let's talk about this, okay? I should have had this. This was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Did you?
Okay.
This is what swill the Republican Party truly is. I mean, the Democrats suck, but this would never happen in the Democratic Party. So a Republican just won. Where is it? Where is it? This local Republican candidate. What's his name? Charged with murdering his wife, wins the primary from jail. Okay?
What?
Yes. He's not just charged. I think they have him on videotape throwing her body over a bridge into the water.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No.
I swear to God. This is how disgusting and vile this immoral, disgusting, greed-centered death cult has become. It's because he's got an R after his name. The people who vote in these primaries, they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? They're just like Republican. Because he murdered his wife. That might be a plus for half of them. But so in here from the Independent, Republican voters in Indiana helped a candidate jailed on charges that he killed his wife win a primary election for a township board seat. Voters cast their ballots for Andrew Wilhoit, a man who, more than 2 months before the primary, was arrested on charges with beating his cancer-stricken wife to death and dumping her body in a creek. Yeah. Real upstanding scumbags, aren't they? In March, Nikki Wilhoit had just finished her final round of chemotherapy. Around the same time, it's like Newt Gingrich. He didn't murder his wife, but he served her with divorce papers while she was lying on her deathbed with cancer. To run off with Cindy McCain, Meghan McCain's mother, right? No, that was Newt Gingrich. I'm getting them confused. That's a different. I was talking about Newt Gingrich, not Meghan McCain, but the same thing. Didn't he serve his cancer-stricken wife with divorce papers too? John McCain. That's why they're merging in my mind. Yeah. So in March, Nikki Wilhoit had just finished her final round of chemo. Around the same time, she learned her husband had allegedly been cheating on her. So she filed for legal separation. On March 24th, the couple began arguing about the affair and the pending divorce when Mr. Wilhoit allegedly hit his wife with a gallon-sized cement flower pot. Prosecutors claim, he then drove her body to a bridge and dumped her into the river.
Oh, my God.
I know. Daily
Beast. And he kept...
What?
And he kept running, and people
they voted for him. He just won the primary. The Daily Beast, I'm sure he'll get Trump's endorsement any day now, reports that after Mr. Wilhoit failed to show up for work, Ms. Wilhoit, her colleagues became worried and asked the police to conduct a wellness check. When the police arrived at her home, 3 of the man's children greeted them and said Miss Wilhoit was not home and that they could not contact her. They were trying to contact her, apparently. At that point, Mr. Wilhoit arrived in his tractor, and he admitted to the police that the pair had a fight. He claimed his wife slept on the couch, and that when she woke up, she disappeared over a bridge after I knocked her dead. No, that's what he's like. Oh, she ran off, when police learned
ran off, like no car, just on feet.
Right.
Just,
well, it's
just
sort of like,
away.
Well, that's what happened. That's what they do. This is what happened. What's his name? That Chris Watts guy. Same thing. Remember when he killed his wife and he killed his wife, his pregnant wife, and his two little baby daughters. His very horrible. Very adorable 2 little girls, and he killed them and his wife who was pregnant, and then he that's on tape too. He can't if it wasn't for for the friend of the wife who was trying to find her. You know what I'm trying to say. He would have, who knows? He would have gotten away with it, maybe. I don't know, or at least maybe he would have went on the run. But yeah, that was interesting because he came home.
This guy's been convicted.
Well, he's in jail.
Still in jail, and he's still winning.
Yeah, let me see. Elizabeth. So he says after confronting Mr. Wilhoit and questioning him about what transpired, police claimed he eventually claimed she had attacked him. Of course, right? These scumbags. Then admitted to throwing Elizabeth out the front door of the house before hurling a cement gallon-sized flower pot that had dirt in it, and it hit her face, he said. Elizabeth fell to the ground, and Andrew stated he didn't know what to do. I was so scared. He was probably crying, right? So he took Elizabeth's body, placed it in his pickup, and threw it in the nearby creek. So, yeah, that's what you do, right? If you accidentally hurt somebody, you don't call 911, right?
No, right.
Right. You just, oh, my God, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll take him to the creek and throw him in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know what to do here. This is what you do? They claim that Mr. Wilhoit collected the broken pieces of the pot and then put them in a plastic bag. He reportedly told investigators he didn't know if his wife was still breathing when he tossed her in the creek. Well, she probably could have been breathing if you got her some fucking medical care, you know?
Wow.
Unreal. But he did it on purpose.
Here's another topic. What about this one? The banning of books.
Okay, yes, I know. That's Republicans for you. They've banned over 1,000 books. Them fascists. And you want to hear a couple of them? Mm-hmm. Sure.
You know what? You want to hear? You know what? One of them is Where's Waldo? They banned Where's Waldo.
Is that for real, or is this a joke?
Yes.
What?
No.
Why?
Yes.
What's wrong with? Is Waldo gay or something?
They must have found him not in a place he should have been. No, what it was
right. They found him at what?
They found him at the spa.
Right. He was at a gay bar.
No, what it was in those pictures there's like 1 million people in one picture and you got to find Waldo.
Oh shit.
Well,
yeah.
one of the millions of people in the pictures, somebody found a nude sunbather.
Really?
That's it.
How new? Oh wait, I'm looking at the picture here. Let's see. So there's a nude.
You are? Can you show
Well,
it?
Let me see if I can. It's a little small. Let me see if I can find a large one. That's what they said as they were searching. For Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. Let me see.
I'm like,
I mean, how sick! But that goes to show you that they're sick and repressed, and they need
really
help.
Sick. You know what's another one?
Wait, hold on a second, Poppy. Hold on. We'll be right back with Poppy Champlin.
Winnie the Pooh.
Hold on. All right, we're back with Poppy Champlin. Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
What?
Winnie the Pooh. They banned Winnie the Pooh.
Why?
It's because they think. Same with Charlotte's Web. Winnie the Pooh and Charlotte's Web.
My two favorite books when I was a child. No wonder I'm gay.
Exactly.
Why? What's wrong?
Because they don't, whoever they is, they don't believe that they believe that talking animals is an affront to God.
Oh, no.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Yes.
What about Nestor the long-eared Christmas donkey? That was another one I loved when I was a kid.
You got to ban that one.
But Nestor uses his long ears to wrap around Mary and take her to the manger. You know? Well, maybe fuck him, right? Nestor. I used to cry when I watched that. Oh, well, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
I say if the Lord doesn't like talking animals, what do you think the Lord is thinking about you talking assholes? How about that?
That's a good one. That is a keeper.
Is that a good one?
Yes, that's a good one. I hope you're using
Here's
that one.
Another one. Diary of Anne Frank. Too depressing.
What? They've banned the Diary of Anne Frank? Oh, because she
Yeah.
does some gay things in there, right?
They said it's too depressing, they said.
That's what they said? Too depressing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I doubt it. I think
That's
it's really
what they
because
said.
well, in Anne Frank, she writes about wanting to kiss her friend or one of her girlfriends and saying that she wanted to like touch her breasts or something. Yeah.
Really?
That's in the Diary of Anne Frank. I remember that when I was a kid. Reading
know
that. But yeah, that's probably what it is really about, but they couldn't say that. You know what I mean? Because they don't want everybody to be like, they don't want to open that can of worms and say, then you'll have others.
About the gays?
Yeah, Anne Frank is gay? Who knows? I mean, she's dead now, you fuckers, thanks to fascists like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And so let's not honor her actual lived experience. Yeah, I mean,
right.
But yeah, I'm looking at this is I can't even find the naked person. I'm looking at it. Let me see.
There's a bunch of the pictures. My favorite story was the cock, the mouse, and the little red hen. Now, what do you think about that?
Oh, yikes!
I know. I love the cock, the mouse, and the little red hen.
You know what I liked when I was a kid? A book, I remember it well, called Be Nice to Spider or Be Kind to Spiders. Have you ever seen that book? That was a good book. Well, I remembered it taught me how to be kind to spiders. Yeah. It did. Be kind. That's good. Because it explained that spiders were good and that they got rid of mosquitoes and that you should be kind to them. Let me see. Be Kind to Spiders book. See, it's right here. My whole childhood is coming back. I remember this book.
That's nice.
Look at this shit. I'm not kidding around.
Wow, it's still there, huh?
Yeah, be nice. Be nice to spiders. Yes. When Billy left his pets,
because they can write.
What?
They can write stories in their webs.
Right.
Like Charlotte's Web.
I loved Charlotte's Web, and it used to make me cry. You know, I mean, whatever. What didn't? What you know?
What did it?
This whole world, this country makes me cry.
What about this? What about this story? Have you done anything about this? The smash and grab thieves? What the hell?
What? I haven't done anything about that. Well, I mean, I've heard of it. They're all over.
It's just going on and on. People are, they've stolen over $68 million worth of stuff.
Who has? It's a particular group
Smash
of people or in general?
Yeah. Well, no, they just go into, Walmarts and Kmarts and they just steal all shit and run out the door. It's like,
well, that's been going on forever, though, right?
Yeah, but it's getting to be like a thing now. Like those motorcycles that ride in packs. Now they got these packs of people that just smash and grab and steal shit. And like, who's working the door, man?
Wow. Well, this country's like really swirling the bowl, frankly, and it's because of these right wingers, economic insecurity, upward immobility.
Yep.
80% of the American people live paycheck to paycheck, and that's all. That's what Republicans want. That's the goal of conservatism. So they can't have. Yeah, that's always been the goal. So they need the American. Well, they just need workers to be nice and malleable. They want workers to be. In fact, there are Republicans. What's his name? Trying to remember who it was who said that his job. He worked for George W. Bush. I think he was some secretary or something. And he says his job was to create a certain level of worker insecurity. Okay, so that's what they do because they don't want people too uppity and demanding living wages, and that's why when we had that 40 years after the New Deal called the Great Prosperity, that's terrifying. That's what the Republicans hate, because the American middle class. That's when we had a middle class. Well, a white middle class. So It wasn't extended to people with darker pigment. But they don't want the workers. They want workers nice and desperate and easily exploitable and at each other's throats. That's what it's about. So it's always been about that. And here we are again. I
guess so. Right back into the Roman times.
Well, this country has a wider income disparity than they had in ancient Rome. Okay? Yeah, I know that sounds like bullshit, right? Let me see. Wealth gap wider. I'll tell you right now. Wider than in ancient. And that's another thing, the Democrats. Why don't the Democrats say things like that? That's something the American people could get around. Like, wow, holy shit. And then right? And you and follow it by, you can't, we can't have a democracy and concentrated wealth at the same time. This doesn't work. Income disparity and upward immobility is anathema to democracy. Anyway. All right.
What?
All right. Maybe don't say it like that then. Anathema means it's cannot live in the same house type deal. Wealth gap.
I've never heard that word before. I like it.
Ancient Rome. Anathema. You never heard the fucking word anathema? Anathema.
I'm going to name my child anathema. What the hell?
Something
anathema.
Or someone that, where is it? A racial, something or someone that is that one vehemently dislikes, or, all right, whatever, who cares? Where is my other, I was looking up something else and I got to.
I know. You're looking up
here we go.
Gap, the wealth gap.
Right. Here is from the socialist rag Business Insider, but this is from 2011, and nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse. Ancient Rome, so here it goes. Where was it? Even the ancient Roman Empire wasn't as unequal as America is today. Some 1,500 years after the fall of the Roman Empire, the supposedly advanced progressive United States of America is plagued by even worse income disparity and inequality. Tim Deschamps at Per Square Mile reached this conclusion based on a study by historians Walter Schiedel and Stephen Friesen. Rome's top 1% controlled 16% of the wealth, compared to modern America, where the top 1% controls 40% of the wealth. But now it's even worse. This is over 10 years ago.
Wow.
Looking at the Gini coefficient, where 0 means perfect equality and 1 means perfect inequality, Rome measured between 0.42 and 0.44. Modern America scores worse at 0.45. Some areas are much worse, like Fairfield County, Connecticut, with an alarming rate of 0.54. Deschamps comments on a telling line from an essay by Schiedel and Friesen. At the end, they make a point that's difficult to parse. Wait, hold on. Shit. Is this the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show? It is. Oh my God. That went flying by. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. But there's more show at youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. And become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And thank you, Poppy Champlin, for hanging out. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. And they know it. That's why they have to be fascists. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Hold on, Poppy.
All right.
Wow, that goes by so fast, man. So
yeah, that was good.
That was good. It's not over yet, but yes, we only have. The show goes by so fast, and we have a lot of people in the chat room. If you're on other platforms, you could hang out with the greatest chat room in American history at youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster. And yeah, I see. Let me see what people are. Where is...
I'm going into the chat room now.
Oh, okay. Poppy's going to hang out in the chat room.
All right.
All right. Are you leaving me,
I'm
Poppy?
going to go into the chat room.
All
Yep,
right.
I'm leaving.
All right, Pop. We're going to be... I have other things to talk about. And, yeah, thank you for hanging out, Poppy. But that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Of course.
I'll see you soon.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Hang out with Poppy Champlin in the chat room. Okay. Have you ever hung out with somebody who was on the Oprah Winfrey show? Well, you can do it right now at youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster. Hold on. And I'm shutting down the phones so I don't have to pay. Well, let me see. What was I going to talk about? There were other things. There are so many other things that are... Oh, yeah. Let's talk about... Oh, my God. Of course, we wanted to talk about... Well, two things. This is what we're going to talk about for the rest of the show. First, I want to talk about the fact that... all right, let's do this. Did you see this? Did you see Donald Trump Jr.? Now, Republicans... and here's the thing. They're saying the biggest assault is not that women are being dragged back into times we thought we left in history's trash pile, and Republicans are dragging us to the back alleys and going to kill women. They are saying that the real story is the leak. Now, they're calling for the person, whoever leaked it. It's got to be either a Supreme Court justice or a clerk, obviously, right? I'm of the opinion the person who leaked it is Alito. Of course he leaked it, because he's a scumbag who precedent schmecedent. Alito is a filthy liar, like the rest of the Republicans. Here's Alito talking about Roe v. Wade during his confirmation hearing.
Versus Wade is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. It was decided in 1973, so it's been on the books for a long time. It has been challenged on a number of occasions, and I discussed those yesterday, and the Supreme Court has reaffirmed the decision, sometimes on the merits, sometimes in Casey, based on stare decisis. And I think that when a decision is challenged and it is reaffirmed, that strengthens its value.
You see? The liar. Not only did he overturn Roe v. Wade in this draft opinion, he went after Casey, too. The stare decisive, my ass, decisis, or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying. They all lied in their confirmation hearings. Of course they did, because it's a means to an end. They hate democracy. So why would they give it the respect of being truthful under oath? You know what I mean? They just want to destroy it. But anyway, so Moscow Mitch is telling us, or telling the press, he's literally telling the press that don't ask me about the Roe v. Wade. The real story here is the leak. That's the story. I have the balls on that turtle-looking mother effer. Anyway, so all over the right-wing cesspool propaganda channels, they're talking about leaks. This is egregious. This is no one's ever heard of such. This is it is that's the real assault. And where the hell is it? So Donald Trump Jr. took to his own Twitter page, or wherever the hell, no, Facebook, and here he's definitely loaded.
Guys, you saw the leak from the Supreme Court, an unprecedented thing. This kind of stuff doesn't happen. I don't know that I'm ever aware of a leak. This is not like Congress where everything leaks. And trust me, I've done enough testimony. Things are leaking during closed-door hearings. I get it. The Supreme Court doesn't have leaks. So if there's not a thorough criminal investigation into who leaked privileged documents about a draft decision from the United States Supreme Court, where
okay, he's on friggin' meth. That guy. There's no doubt in my mind. Anybody? I'm in recovery. We have a few people in recovery on the chat. If someone showed up to, let's say, a meeting of recovering people and started sharing like this, I think we would all ask them, we say thanks for sharing. You can talk to somebody after the meeting, right? Because, we frown on people who are high going on diatribes.
Small, tiny handful of people have access to it. Then we live in a clown show state.
We certainly do.
We live in a clown show state, folks. For perspective, the FBI...
We live in a clown show state because of you, Donald Trump Jr. And the fact is, he's high. And there's an article over at Salon. Is Donald Trump Jr. okay? On Wednesday morning, Jr. posted a video to Rumble in which he completely freaked out. And it says, in 3-minute long video, began with an overly stimulated Jr. flailing around, shouting about privacy and demanding a criminal investigation into the leak. There is no evidence so far that any laws are broken. But, Jr. said that the FBI should spearhead his desired probe because it once looked into a suspected noose that was hanging from a garage door. You know what I mean? This is complete mania.
Sent, I believe it was 15 people to investigate a garage pull. Remember the NASCAR Bubba Wallace thing? And thought it was a noose.
15
it's a garage
people.
Pull. Like, basically on every garage of every NASCAR track that anyone's ever been at.
Wow.
Didn't matter. 15 people. And if they don't send people to investigate
15 people? Do we have any receipts for that? They talk out of their ass. But that's besides the point. We know that. 15 people.
We live in a clown show state.
We heard you the 15th time. Clown show state. And I wonder why. What a joke. The whole world is watching. And this is the best we can do? This is the so-called son of the well, I guess he is the so-called son of the so-called president. He's definitely the son of the president, but the so-called president. But the fact is, think about how much they go after Hunter Biden. They hate Hunter Biden. And they continuously post pictures of Hunter Biden that Hunter Biden actually shared in his books and his talking about his experiences as an active addict. You see, Hunter Biden is clean now, and he had the courage to get help. But according to Republicans, he should be ashamed. That's your compassionate conservatism again. But there's no shame in being an out-of-control active addict like him. He doesn't have the courage. He would never get help. Because not only does he not have the courage, his daddy will hate him even more than he does now. These people are sad. They're inhumane. They're unfit. And they shouldn't be anywhere near any power. They shouldn't be near the power of a goddamn electric socket, much less the halls of power.
This is an unprecedented action, right?
Look at him.
SCOTUS drafts are on a tight hold.
What?
They're held by a small number of people, and they should be easily
Look at
identified.
him.
They don't leak, okay?
There's something very wrong with him. Look at his eyes. He's high. And not only are his eyes red and glassy, like he's been up for 5 days, they're also quite dead.
They already know probably who leaked it, and I imagine it's going to be a pissed off leftist. Now, again, people will not be held accountable because it's the left, and the media will...
You see, first of all, it's not the left. It's Alito who leaked it, and I'm all for if they're all talking about if whoever leaked it, let's find who leaked it, they should be impeached and blah blah blah. Good, let's do it. You know, it wasn't the left because the left doesn't play like this. Alito's the guy. The other day when we did the show, we read an article about Alito sitting next to Ruth Bader Ginsburg as she read the one of the dissents, and he couldn't control himself. He sat there rolling his eyes and shaking his head and guffawing and humming and hawing and looking at the ceiling. Because they don't know how to control themselves. They're unfit. They're infants, emotional infants. Well, not even infant. They're emotionally stunted, prepubescent, adolescent bullies. That's the collective. Has the collective maturity of one schoolyard bully. There's no doubt in my mind. Anybody else on the chat in recovery? If this person walked into a meeting, what would you do? What would happen? There'd people be passing around phone numbers, right? Here's some literature. Please.
Run cover.
Call me anytime. Right? Not him. He would never do it. He would never have the courage to ask for help. And something... I don't even care. I don't feel for him in any way. He gets what he deserves, you know? There will be a reckoning, but I can't wait. I hope I could see it rather soon because I need to have something to laugh about.
But it's impossible to overstate how significant this leak is. This would be like a general coordinating with communist China, giving Chinese generals, examples of what we'd be doing and what our response would be. Sort of like what they were talking about Millie did before. But that's where we're getting, folks. This may be the
Millie.
first time
Did Millie did something on somewhere on some QAnon 4chan website? Millie did something because General Milley discussed the fact that he's not a complete dullard like they are, that he actually reads books. So they don't like him. And he took an oath to the Constitution and he meant it. So he's not a scumbag like the rest of them. You notice how only the worst people... only the worst, meaning when he said only the best, meaning only the worst.
That a Supreme Court opinion has leaked. I'm not aware of another time, and I don't know that any of you are.
3 minutes into the video. No,
it's
two.
Almost
two,
like it's a political strategy to get the liberal base motivated when they know that they're losing everything because of the insanity that they're pushing. They're trying to get the pendulum to correct it back.
Correct back. Right. We're trying to get the pendulum out of the hands of people who are unfit and receive fewer votes. Less vote-getting sociopaths who don't have a mandate to do anything that they do. They receive fewer votes, but yet they remain in power. Trying to get the pendulum to swing back. It's called democracy, you piece of dirt. That's why they hate democracy. They would rather live in Putin's Russia. That's what they want. Instead of, because the thing is, it's too much trouble for them to move. That would take initiative. And they're lazy. So they will simply drag this country down to their level. Because democracy, a constitutionally limited democratic republic, a multiracial Democratic Republic, that's too much for them. They can't handle that. They lack the maturity to function in a country like that. That's why they suckle Orban. I always say Orban. Viktor Orban. I mean, these people are the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. And this scumbag, he's killing himself, but he hates himself. That's what it's about. He hates himself. And all of this, the show he's putting on, is for his daddy. The antics. He's basically screaming, "Love me, daddy." But his daddy will never love him. And that is really a tragedy, but oh well. If he had the courage and integrity, he would walk away from his daddy. He'd be like, "My daddy's fucked up. My daddy's unfit." He would be like Mary Trump. He would have some integrity, but he doesn't. And he knows how inadequate he is. Without his daddy, where would he be? He'd have to get a job. Not in the Trump bullshit organization. And that he can't have that because he's unfit. He couldn't meet any merit. He has no merit. He brings nothing to the table. He knows it. That's why he's suffering. And he knows how inadequate he is, just like the rest of the right-wingers who want to they cling to their privilege. They don't want to let it go because they're inadequate. Where would they be? They would be here. I mean, I can't handle it. That they lionize these fucking unfit, these mentally ill morons. They're all sick. And hello, Democrats, stop blaming Susan Sarandon. This is the thing, they talk about Hillary. If it weren't for Susan Sarandon or, who else? They blame Jill Stein, who I can't stand her either, frankly. Jill Stein. She's irritating to me. And also possibly a Russian asset, but that's another story. But if you can't, overcome a con man, the worst, most disgusting human being on the planet, it shouldn't even have been close. It's not Susan Sarandon's fault. It's the fact that the Democratic Party wasn't listening. That there's a revolution, that the American people are tired of being on the wrong side of Reaganomics. They're tired of living paycheck to paycheck. And the income disparity and upward immobility makes a fascist possible. It makes these scumbags possible. So you can't beat these vile dirtbags, these vile con men, documented effing vile con men. I mean, Trump was the Trump scumbag tacky hotel was fined for laundering money for the Russian mob. If you can't overcome that, Democrats, it's not Susan Sarandon's fault. Give me a break.
Try to motivate the radicals with some of that insanity. So, I'm seeing now from my friends.
What radical? That's the other thing. The Democrats annoy the fuck out of me. I mean, I know. We should focus on the Republicans. We are. But the fact is, if the Democrats, they're talking about radical. What's radical about living wages? What's radical about, being able to retire, take a day off, take a vacation, not have to live paycheck to paycheck? What's radical about that? No one ever pushes back. The Democrats don't do it either. And maybe they're starting to try a little bit. Hopefully they are. But whatever. Everybody's supposed to fill in the blanks. The radical Dems. What's so radical? What radical? What is radical? Give me a radical policy. Oh, you know what they'll say? Genders, right? And also, here's the other thing. As far as abortion, this is how we know the Republicans they know that they suck. And it's because they have to lie. We played a clip the other week, and this is catching on. I've seen other Republicans repeat this bullshit, that the Democrats want abortions up to the day of birth. As if, and here's the thing, this just goes to show you, yet again, that Republicans hate women. That's what they think. They think that women are bitches who are whores, and they're also evil. They'll carry a pregnancy one day before the birth is they're supposed to give birth, and just be like, oh fuck it, kill it, because women are evil and they must be controlled. Right? That's the message. Who believes that? But they do. Because they hate women. They hate, and they have so vilified liberals. You know, they can't even say the goddamn name of the party. And the Democrats don't even push back on that. I've watched Democrats on corporate media arguing with Republicans, and the Republican says Democrat Party, and the Democratic person doesn't even say, excuse me, hold up. I'd love to have a conversation with you, bubby, but you are too much of an infant who can't even say the name of the goddamn party. So, you know, aren't the American people sick of this already? This infantilism? I don't know.
Benny Johnson, he spoke to a Supreme Court clerk who's horrified. And I quote, "This leak has to come from a clerk or a justice themselves. It is intended to blow up the court. Criminal investigation needs to happen now."
This has been going on 2.5 minutes
Justice
now.
Sotomayor, the most radical of the leftists, probably did that, knowing, again, the media is going to jump at it, the Democrats are going to go
Look
insane.
at this shit.
They're gathering in front of the Supreme Court as we speak. You know, they're talking about, claiming that it's a stolen, illegitimate Supreme Court, yada. It's already started, right? The gathering in Supreme Court, that's illegitimate, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure pretty soon we'll be hearing chants of insurrections, because that's what they do.
Wow.
That's what you do.
Take a breath,
so,
man.
Watch what happens. It's clearly designed to intimidate justices, to obstruct a future SCOTUS proceeding. It's designed to intimidate their families. It's designed with a purpose. Okay? That's an insurrection, folks. We've been hearing about all the other clown shows that have been investigated. Again, whether it's Russia hoax 4 years.
Wow.
If this isn't investigated, we live in a clown show. We live in a banana republic.
How many times?
We have to look into it right now.
These fucking people. This is who they follow. That's their leader. One of their leaders. I mean, talk about a clown show. If you spot it, you got it, honey. The clown show is coming from inside Trump Tower. These people are the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I don't know about you. I am tired. You know why I'm tired and why I'm after Democrats tonight? Because I'm sick of them enabling them. Okay? They have enabled this clown show. Yes, it is a clown show. But it's coming from the fascist democracy loathing death cult. They've enabled it. by Nancy Pelosi pining for that. Oh, take back your party. Where are you taking it back? They're not going to take back the party. They want to take us all back to the history's trash pile. My God. Here, let's go on with before we wrap up the show for tonight. There's so many other things I want to talk about, but if you can become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin, maybe we'll do a show on Monday. If somebody becomes a patron on Monday, we'll do a show. Otherwise, we'll have to. It'll just be on my whim, and when I can, I should say. Here. The other day I was perusing, news and whatnot, as I do, and I saw an article with Meghan McCain. Like, who cares? There was an article, I think, where the hell was it? It was this long-ass article about Meghan McCain. Like, they were interviewing her, and I thought, who cares? Yet again, right? Who cares? But this is what Republicans do. And the media does this. Is anyone clamoring for the opinions of Meghan McCain? She's a complete fabrication. She's been propped up her entire life because she's the daughter of a senator. She brings nothing to the table, and who cares? She has a publicist, and they paid somebody to write an article, and she also she writes for the Daily Mail. That's another thing. She writes a column for the Daily Mail, which is nothing but sophomoric musings interjected with the bullshit that I'm sure she is getting from her fascist husband, who's also a filthy fascist liar, Ben Dominish or whatever hell. But anyway, so part of this article, I'm trying to find it, but oh yeah, it was in Newsweek. Meghan McCain is one lady who is not fraterning. This is from Ryan Smith at Newsweek. As millions of Republicans devotedly remain on board the Trump train, the conservative firebrand counts herself among the GOP members who've never been a passenger. I didn't vote for him either time. For McCain, her refusal to go full MAGA red meat, alt-right conservative, or renounce the Republican Party in light of the aforementioned group's domination has meant that she is among the lesser heard voices on the conservative airwaves. Oh, is that why? I don't want to say it's completely in the minority, but it's certainly not as loud, she explained. There is a feeling where if you're not a full populist and believe in MAGA, then you're not welcome. Look at this picture, too. Like, they have an accompanying picture. Who cares what this bitch says? You know what I mean? This is part of the reason this country is swirling the bowl. Because they prop up these somebody who shouldn't be anywhere near having a microphone that has millions of viewers. Talking about when she was on The View, for Christ's sakes. Well, anyway, to confirm this, Meghan McCain's new memoir, Bad Republican, flops with get ready, fewer than 300 copies sold. And that is generous. So who are these 300 people that wanted that book? I mean, there's her mother, her cousin, her husband, her daughter, Liberty. Liberty. Why don't you just call her daughter Stars and Eagles or... Unbelievable. I mean, here's Meghan McCain's commentary. April. This is from April. Only Joe Biden can turn a harmless photo op into an embarrassing disaster. Here's why the video of our confused commander-in-chief should frighten us. What the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Oh, remember, because that was the Republicans were showing a video when everybody was talking, and Joe Biden was just like, who do I talk to? I don't know. So what? These people hate this country. That's the problem. Now, Trump can meander around and discuss the size of his penis and call everybody a fat pig. And we'll never hear similar criticisms. How many times have we see videos of Trump walking around, walking out of the room, not knowing where to go? Only Trump, the one who took an Alzheimer's test and touted it as if it were an IQ test. Camera, woman, man, camera, TV. Meghan McCain's new book flopped with fewer than 300 copies. Let's see. According to a listing for the 224-page book on Amazon, Meghan McCain expresses, it expresses how it is to feel like you no longer fit in your political party. Well, what is wrong with you? It goes to show you yet again that, these people have no moral core. So they have to look to this disgusting death cult for some kind of validation. And it's like a club to them. That's why it's a cult. Now, you and I both know that for us, for normal people, let's say if the Democratic Party suddenly put a con man, an autocrat suckling con man as a standard bearer, and then he came down an escalator claiming Mexicans rapists, we'd all be out of here. We'd be like, no thanks. It wouldn't take long, that would be the day. We wouldn't need more convincing that this was an irredeemable cult. And anybody who was left in it. Yeah, it's like, what are you getting out of it? But it's not, I don't really care, frankly, about her and what she gets out of her affiliation with the greed-centered death cult. It's that this country, this community, this world gives Meghan McCain a platform. And this is why, didn't the founders fight a revolution so we could be free from the intergenerational aristocracy? And that we wouldn't have to put up with their sophomoric whinings? That, you know what I mean? So it goes to show, what is she bringing to the table? She's not even bringing 300 people. Right? So, let me see. She tells of growing up the daughter of an American icon who shaped, that's all you got. It's incredible. Who shaped her life and details the heartbreaking final moments spent by his side. She recalls her misadventures on the New York dating scene and brings us up to speed on meeting her husband, her now husband, a fascist if there ever was one, Ben Dominique. He's disgusting. And a filthy, vile, fascist liar. Oh my God. Awful. He's awful. I'm sure I have some video of him, but oh my God, mercifully, not mercilessly. There's the music. Well, I guess it's mercilessly, depending on your point of view. Holy moly. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. My Lord. And thank you for your super chats, Jim and Mark and Slow Tree and Richard W. And thank you, Poppy. We need you forever, Poppy. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you, Irene, for your super chat. We will win. That's right. We are on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. I want to thank you, Poppy, for a great conversation. Thank you, JD, for another super chat under the wire. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Ba-da-doo-doo. All right, guys. Wow. Here comes the producer. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, you little bastard. Come here. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. All right. You know what book I got? I got my Celsus book today. Celsus on the True Doctrine. And I was perusing it. I'm going to read this on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. Taking a little time and reading this book. For those who don't know, this is a book by a Roman, a contemporary of the early Christians, when Christianity was getting a little too big for its britches. And the Christianity and so-called paganism coexisted in the Roman Empire at the same time. And Celsus was an outspoken critic of the early Christians. And the only reason we have his writings, because the bulk of them, he wasn't alone, but the bulk of them were destroyed by the Christians, because it was heresy. And you know that heresy, what is the root of the word heresy? Means choice. So that says all you need to know about religion, Junior. If you're a heretic, that means you are, and that's what the Republicans, right? They don't want choice. Thank you, Terry Taylor, for your super chat. Oh, really? Mary Trump has a parrot producer too? Oh man, that's cool. So maybe I'll read some. Well, if we have, maybe somebody becomes a patron on Monday, and I'll do a show. Otherwise, I'll just read. I'll read it to myself. But this Celsus was, he pulls no punches. I was just opening up some, looking at some, random excerpts earlier, and it was making me laugh, frankly. Because they would say, because one of his arguments was that the God about dying on the cross, or dying or something about, and then his argument was, well, if you really have a God, why is a God afraid of dying? Has a point there, really. The very situation of the Christian in early society, their perceived illegitimacy and harassment that followed from... All right, that's... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'll have to find some good ones. It's a very short book, so... The Christian God is not all-powerful, or else he would have been able to bring creation into line with his purposes. The existence of a willful and disobedient creation that operates contrary to the will of the Creator suggests that he is not good. Finally, Christian God proves his inferiority to the impassable first principle of Greek speculation in decreeing the resurrection of the flesh. the doctrine is both nauseating and impossible. That's what Celsus says, but I don't know. I'm just reading probably a banned book. I find it interesting. For me, well, I don't know. I love reading ancient texts right out of the mouths of the ancients. Like I read Caesar's commentaries on Gaul, and of course Marcus Aurelius, because to me it's just fascinating. You know, you're listening. It's like a trip back in time. So, all right. The Christian doctrine of resurrection. Those who teach the existence of another God besides the God of the Jews have no intelligent answer to give in response to my criticisms. Says Celsus. True. They take as their defense the notion that the prophets of the Jews foretold of the Christian God, but this is a very old ploy. Those who offer up a new God really have none to give, and those who maintain that the prophets spoke of the God of the Jews and not of some other God, a better God, will always come back with, yes, it was inevitable that all these things should have turned out the way they did. Why? Well, because it was predicated that it would. Or predicted, excuse me. I read that wrong. It is easy for Christians to use books of the Jews to their advantage, since anyone can prove anything from their so-called prophecy. The predictions, all right, whatever, are taught unchanging word of God as something wholly marvelous. Of this I have first-hand knowledge, knowing the people of that region as I do. There are countless in that region who will prophesy, quote unquote, at the drop of a hat. Yeah, he's just saying that, you know, Jesus was just somebody who learned some tricks. Alrighty, my friends. Yes, I think it's interesting too, Richard. I find it fascinating. And it's also fascinating that no one teaches it, but they would rather teach, of course, they teach that it's true, you know what I mean? That the ancient book of fables is true in no historical context. So, yes. I found my copy on Amazon, but there was only a couple left actually, and it came all bent and whatnot. So I don't know if it's in print. All right, my guys and gals, and everybody else in between, and all the bisexuals across the sea. Guys. Fast talker, McCain. Yeah, that's true. She's just, well, what did the Native Americans say? Often those who speak the most have the least to say. That's her. Alrighty, my friends. Oh, thank you. I see Mark from Shaping Progress. Nice to see you. Our millennial correspondent. Yes, Mark. I'm loving this topic. Well, once I learn a little bit more about it, we can discuss it further. I just find it interesting that these writings were suppressed by the Christians. What else is new? Okay. What time is it? It's time for me to go get unconscious. Tara, when are you going to have a book about the Republic clowns? I know. I've been saying that. I started writing a book. I wrote 3 chapters. I'm sure we'll need updating. But I sent out a proposal, and no one really cared. So it was like Meghan McCain, really, except without all the money and being propped up. So maybe one day. Maybe one day. I will write. Eventually. I will. I will. I swears. All right, guys. I will. Because actually, there's too much not to write about. And my thesis was that Republicans are unfit to hold leadership positions in a modern nation. And it was wrapped around the story of my father, basically. I'm sort of like Meghan McCain that way. But my father and I used to argue about, I mean, he was a Reagan Democrat, so to speak. And we used to have arguments about it. And the name of the book is It Sucks to Be Right. Because I'm right. I don't want to be right. Now it's 40 years, 30 years later, and I'm right. Everything I said was that I said was going to happen, happened. You know, it used to piss me off with my father. I'd be like, don't you care about me? Don't you want me to have to live in a middle class, in a country that has a middle class? Right, Junior? Uh-huh. All right. Guys, what am I going to do? I got to go get unconscious. I don't know. Watch some TV. Stop thinking about Republicans. Read some Celsius. And I wish, you know, I wish I could meet the man. It must have been very interesting living in that time period. Except, well, I'm sure I would not have enjoyed being a woman at that time, but... All right, my friends. If somebody become a patron at patreon.com. Yes, then my book can be banned, Poppy. Exactly. As soon as I finish writing it, it'll be immediately banned, which would be good for me. I wish they would. Well, why don't they ban that Meghan McCain book? No, that's not banned. I'm surprised they didn't. This is what Republicans do. They buy a lot of copies, and then they start touting themselves on the New York Times bestseller list. But they've bought bulk copies. And there's a way you can tell, because the New York Times, they reference it in their listings. So all the conservatives, they buy millions of copies, and then they give them out as door prizes, or get a ticket to CPAC and get a copy of Donald Trump Jr.'s book. Stop that, you little monster. I mean, producer. What's the matter with you? Relax. He just wants to be pet. Listen to him. Isn't he cute? I know, honey. He just wants to be scratched. All right, my friends. Let's meet back here as soon as we can. Take the Patreon challenge, somebody. And maybe, who knows? All right. Oh, you little bastard. Stop it. You hear the way he talks to me? What's the matter? What was that? What was that? Meow, 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 meow. All right, guys. We will win. Will we win, Junior? Because we're on the right side of history. That's right. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Oh, shit. He wants my hand. Listen to him. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you, Poppy Champlin, for hanging out. And we will see you very soon.